Uh,
Oh, well, fun.
yeah,
How are you?
I am good. I am feeling so much better today.
Oh, I'm so glad.
So, me too. I slept straight through last night. I woke up this morning. I'm like, thank you, God. I'm right to go into the holidays. So that is good. And I will tell you in terms of the cold weather and the rain, do you see my cat? My cat will not give up on wanting to be pet right now. Um, I work in an office that has no windows. And so I had no idea it was cold and raining out until I went upstairs last night at like dinner time and I was gonna go run outside and do something. And I'm like, oh, the weather has shifted. It's cold and wet.
It has shifted.
So mentally I get to live in like 72 and sunny in my brain all day long every day. Like it's always beautiful outside because I never know until I go out of my office to somewhere that has a window or go outside.
Isn't that funny? Different perspectives. Like I have a window directly in front of, like, I'm facing a window right now because I need to see outside. I need to see, especially when it's sunny, like I need to be in that sunlight and just feeling that.
Yeah.
Actually, that's one of the times that I really feel God's presence is like if I'm standing in the sunlight, it's like I feel like he's just speaking directly to my soul.
Mm, there is something with that for sure. I have to when I know it's nice out in the summer take like a 20-minute break and I literally will just go out and sit in the lawn chair, put your feet on the ground, and I will just face whatever direction the sun's in. And chin up, eyes closed, glasses off, no noise, set my timer for like 20 minutes on my phone, and I just sit there and breathe. And it's like the best 20 minutes.
My favorite. During the winter, I will go sit in, I'll find the sunspot and just sit there in the light and just, my kids
Like
used
a
to do
cat.
that too when they were little. They would, especially straight out of the shower, I would wrap a towel around them and then they'd go run and find a sunspot and like strip the towel off and just sit there.
So funny, but so how drawn to light we are. I mean, and you can create, speaking of metaphors, like you can create those metaphors as much as you want, but isn't it interesting as human beings, regardless of what you believe, if you believe or where you believe, we are all drawn to light innately.
Yeah, it
So
feels good.
it does, but on a deeper level than just feel good. It's like you
Mhm.
can get a massage and it's like, ooh, that felt good. But you can sit in the sun and there's something where it's like it just sits in you. It's like, ooh, that felt really good.
I tell my husband all the time I'm a solar panel. Like it energizes me and adjusts.
Uh,
We'll
it,
sit in the
it
car and I'm like, I'll put out my hands or what he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm a solar panel.
next year for Halloween. Renee's a solar panel. Uh,
Good idea.
I can go either way in the sun. So I can either be really energized by it and I get out in the sun and I'm like, let's go. I want to do something. I want to, ooh, this gives me energy. Or I go the exact opposite way and I'm like, give me a blanket and I could so take the best nap ever right now with the sun just beating down on me until it gets too hot. Like we're not talking hot and humid, but we're talking nice, perfect sunny day.
With a light breeze.
Hmm.
Yeah, as we
Yeah.
do.
Do you ever nap in the sun?
Yes.
It's best.
Yeah. I have a hammock outside and
Okay, well now you're just bragging. That's fine.
well, well,
Uh,
it's raining and 124 degrees here. So
that was that was pretty funny. I did see that.
yeah.
That was good.
Well,
So,
what were your thoughts for today since we're just kind of babbling?
well, honestly, so when I was kind of looking and reading this morning, I was looking into, and being sick, it was is really funny because I was trying to, so I told you, you know, coming home, being sick, having all these things I wanted to be a part of and do, making these great connections, and then I was sick and it's just none of it happened for 2 weeks. And so I was really trying to kind of examine what am I really feeling about this? Am I feeling this fear of I'm gonna like lose this progress or I'm gonna get busy being busy or um, how much of it is am I being left behind? Am I like I'm not a part of it? Like is there because there was this moment, right? So you came back, we did this together, and then I fell off the face of the earth because I was sick. And you were like, well, I'm still gonna do something every day. And I thought it's so funny how no matter how much we know what we're supposed to be doing and how much we know we're a part of something, how much we can still struggle with. I'm like, "Oh, she's gonna have a whole new thing, and she's just, like, not gonna be my friend anymore." And it's not like I believe into that. I didn't really think that. I mean, I'm dramatizing it because that's what I do, but you get what I'm saying. It's kind of
Oh,
this you
totally.
start to go down this little rabbit hole of, "They're gonna do this great thing without me now, and this thing's gonna happen, and it's all gonna fall away." And so, I was just spending a little time reading about that, and I was just reading in, James, where it talks about James 3:16, where it talks about wherever you find jealousy and fighting, there'll be trouble and every other kind of wrongdoing. So it says it in terms of jealousy and fighting in this Bible. So then I went to my other Bible, and it talks about, um, for where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you find disorder and every evil practice. And I thought, isn't that interesting how often we focus on things from a perspective of lack or of fear or of not wanting. And then that brought me kind of full circle to I remember, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was Tyler Watson who was talking about trauma versus transformation.
Yes.
Yeah, so then I wrote down what we focus on can either steal our joy or build it. But so, God was calling me out on this kind of this Shannon, you chose to focus on anything and everything that could go wrong during this 2 weeks of being ill instead of maybe anything and everything that was supposed to bring you joy and go right and help you continue to build what you're building. And that just kind of hit me. And I thought, I can't be the only one where you sit in a situation and you either let it bring you joy or steal your joy, or you either let it become traumatic or you let it lead you into transformation.
Absolutely. So on the other side of that, so you're sick and I'm like, "Oh no. What I what am I gonna do? Because if I don't continue, this will fall apart." And I kind of feel like it was almost like a commandment for me to get this started and get it going. And not that it was just like the Lord was like, "You're gonna do this." And I was like, "Okay." So for me, stepping into the, "Oh my gosh, I'm doing this by myself," or I being a relationship builder, I pulled in Leanne for one and I pulled in Eddie for one, and then I did a couple on my own. And I was like, okay, I actually can do this because my fear was, well, I really need Shannon. And I do, but I also
Isn't
knew
that
that if
funny?
if I didn't keep going, that I wouldn't. And I would find an excuse like, oh, well, you're not feeling good. It's okay. It's fine. Um, So for me, I had this opposite fear of like, I don't want to do this alone. So no worries, I'm not replacing you. And
Well,
and it's okay to pull other people in was what I got. And it's also okay
yeah,
for me to do this on my own because I'm not alone, because God's right here.
which is so funny, right? Because through our humanness, we just limit ourselves and therefore like limit God. Like you can't see it. And that's where I had to stop and remind myself, like, okay, first of all, like we are built to connect with all people. We are called to build this community. And so to settle myself down, I mean, same thing as you. And it's just funny to hear the opposite side of it, right? So from my side of it, I'm like, oh my gosh, here's Leanne, just, or not Leanne, sorry, here's Renee, just, oh, just moving on without me. And then on your side of it, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this without, I mean, it's so funny. So
Yeah.
how we just have these assumptions on what people are thinking or what our part is in things. And it tends to always lean towards what makes us small, what dims our light, what steals our joy.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
which is the exact opposite, of course, of what God intends for us, right? So,
Um, so it's funny because I was looking back at what Tyler Watson did say, and he he did say that where did it go?
I had the right person. He is the one who said that?
Yeah, he was
Okay.
totally the one. Oh, he spoke a couple times. That's why I was like, so you commit even when it's hard. That's I
Mm.
was trying to find that because your trauma can be your transformation. It's all in your intention. So my trauma of you being sick, which I was like, oh my gosh, you're sick. You need to take care of yourself. And of course, I want you to take care of yourself. But I was like, okay, I can just sit in this and I could be like, okay, well, I, I- it's hard now. So I don't have to commit. I don't have to be consistent because literally what I have is God wants you to win big, choose in every day, be consistent, commit even when it's hard, trauma or transformation. It's all the intention. Like this is, so I was sitting in that moment of I need to commit even when it's hard. I need to be consistent, even when I don't have Shannon, my whoopee, my security blanket.
But isn't that funny? So then you bring it all together, and it's like, here we come back from faith over fear, and I have these fears that come from me being sick. You have these fears, so it's like what God intends for good, right? Satan intends for, so we start to meet all these obstacles, and you get to make that choice. Do we commit and we keep going and work through the obstacles, or do you let that be the excuse that lets you just fall back?
Yeah, so I didn't let it be the excuse. I kept going, and I knew how important it was for you to focus on you and heal because that's
Right.
what needed to happen there.
Which was hard for me because that's not what I usually do. So therein lied, a big part of my struggle was just like, okay, just rest and it will be there in a couple weeks. And you're not gonna let it fall back. And it was more about me than it was about you. It was more about me falling into my old patterns because like I said, that was my biggest prayer coming out of there is don't let me get so busy being busy or don't let me do what I always do, which is just fall back to old patterns and not keep building upon what I gained there.
Yeah. And God's just shaking his head, looking at us, going,
Girls,
babies.
girls, girls.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you are feeling better. I'm glad that we are letting this be our transformation and that we are committing to being consistent. So it's kind of a
Me
cool thing.
too.
And it
Which
doesn't
means I'll
have
see
to
you
look
tomorrow.
right. It doesn't have to look the same.
Yeah,
It can change and it can be flexible as long as we're keeping moving forward toward the light.
absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better.
All right. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and we hope that you have a very blessed day.
Absolutely.